Protect your peace. Stop explaining yourself to the wrong people. The day you stop explaining everything. Many people feel tired every day, not because of work, not because of life, but because they explain too much. They explain their choices, they explain their dreams, they explain their silence, they explain their life. And still, some people do not understand. Some people do not listen. Some people do not care. This is a painful truth. Not everyone wants to understand you. Some people only want to judge you. Some people only want to criticize you. Some people only want to control you. So you talk more, you explain more, you defend yourself. You try to prove that you are right, but something strange happens. The more you explain, the more tired you feel. The more you explain, the more confused people become. The more you explain, the weaker you feel. Because deep inside, your heart knows something. You should not need to explain your life to everyone. Your life is not a court. You are not on trial. You do not need to defend every choice. But many people grow up believing they must explain everything. Maybe your parents asked many questions. Why did you do this? Why did you say that? Why are you like this? Maybe teachers asked the same questions. Maybe friends judged you. Maybe people laughed at your ideas. Slowly, you learn something. You learn to explain yourself. You explain your feelings. You explain your dreams. You explain your decisions. You explain your mistakes. You explain your plans. You explain your silence. You explain everything. At first, it feels normal, but one day you notice something. You feel very tired. Your mind feels heavy. Your heart feels weak. You start to ask yourself a question. Why do I explain so much? Why do I try so hard to make everyone understand me? Why do I care so much about what people think? Then, one day, something happens. You meet someone calm, someone quiet, someone strong. This person does not explain much. They do not argue. They do not defend themselves. They do not try to win every conversation. They simply listen. They simply smile. They simply walk away when the conversation is useless. At first, this feels strange, but slowly you see something powerful. This person has peace, real peace. People cannot easily disturb them. People cannot easily control them. People cannot easily pull them into drama, because they know one simple truth. Not every question deserves an answer. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every person deserves your explanation. This is the moment your mind begins to change. You begin to understand something important. Explaining yourself does not always create understanding. Sometimes it only creates more noise. Think about this. Imagine a clear lake in the mountains. The water is calm. The water is quiet. You can see the bottom. You can see the stones. You can see the fish swimming slowly. Now, imagine someone throws many rocks into the lake. The water moves. The water becomes cloudy. The water becomes wild. You cannot see the bottom anymore. Your mind works the same way. When you explain too much, when you argue too much, when you defend yourself too much, your mind becomes like the lake with many rocks. No peace, no clarity, no calm, only noise. But when you stop explaining everything, something beautiful begins to happen. Your mind becomes quiet again. Your thoughts become clear. Your energy comes back. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to feel stronger. You begin to feel free. This does not mean you never speak. This does not mean you ignore everyone. This does not mean you stop communicating. It means something different. It means you choose wisely. You choose when to speak. You choose when to explain. You choose who deserves your words. Because words are powerful. Words carry energy. Words carry emotion. Words carry time. Every time you explain yourself to someone who does not respect you, you lose something. You lose time. You lose peace. You lose energy. And energy is the most valuable thing in life. Money can return. Opportunities can return. But energy is different. When your energy is gone, everything feels heavy. Simple tasks feel difficult. Small problems feel big. Your dreams feel far away. That is why protecting your peace is important. Peace is not weakness. Peace is strength. Peace means your mind is clear. Peace means your emotions are stable. Peace means you control your reactions. And one of the strongest ways to protect your peace is simple. Stop explaining yourself to the wrong people. Wrong people ask questions not to understand you. They ask questions to challenge you. They ask questions to criticize you. They ask questions to feel powerful. You can recognize these people easily. They do not listen carefully. They interrupt you. They twist your words. They judge quickly. No matter what you say, they find a problem. You explain your dream, they say it is impossible. You explain your plan, they say it will fail. You explain your feelings, they say you are weak. So you try harder. You explain again. You explain more details. You explain your reasons, but nothing changes.
Why? Because they never wanted the explanation. They wanted control. They wanted attention. They wanted drama. This is the moment when a wise person makes a new decision. They stop explaining. They simply smile. They change the subject, or they walk away. Not with anger, not with hate, but with calm confidence. Because they understand something powerful. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every conversation deserves your time. Imagine a traveler walking a long road. The traveler has limited water, limited food, limited strength. Now imagine the traveler stops every few steps to argue with strangers on the road. Soon the traveler becomes tired. Soon the traveler loses strength. Soon the traveler cannot reach the destination. Life is the same. Your dreams are the destination. Your energy is the water. Your focus is the path. If you spend all your energy explaining your life to everyone around you, you will feel exhausted before reaching your goals. But when you learn to protect your peace, something changes. You begin to walk with quiet confidence. You stop trying to convince everyone. You stop trying to win every argument. You stop trying to make everyone like you. And something surprising happens. People start to respect you more. Why? Because calm people look strong. Quiet people look confident. People who do not chase approval look powerful. Confidence is often silent. Insecurity is often loud. When someone constantly explains themselves, people feel doubt. They wonder, is this person unsure? Is this person afraid? But when someone speaks clearly and then becomes quiet, people feel something different. They feel certainty. They feel strength. They feel calm authority. Think about strong leaders. Think about wise teachers. Think about calm mentors. They do not talk endlessly. They speak clearly, and then they stop. Their silence carries weight. Their silence carries power. And you can learn this power too. You do not need to change your personality. You do not need to become cold. You only need to learn one new habit. Pause before explaining. Ask yourself a simple question. Does this person truly want to understand me, or do they only want to argue? This one question can protect your peace. If the person wants understanding, speak. If the person wants drama, be silent. Silence is not surrender. Silence is wisdom. Silence is control. Silence is power. And this is the first step toward a peaceful life.
The day you stop explaining yourself to the wrong people is the day your life begins to change. Your mind becomes calmer. Your heart becomes stronger. Your energy returns. And slowly, quietly, your life begins to transform. Part 2. The quiet power of silence. Something changes when you stop explaining everything. At first, the change feels small. You speak a little less. You argue a little less. You react a little slower. But slowly you begin to notice something important. Your mind feels calmer. Your heart feels lighter. Your days feel more peaceful. This is the quiet power of silence. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people think silence means weakness. Many people think silence means fear. Many people think silence means you have nothing to say. But real silence is different. Real silence is strength. Real silence is control. Real silence is confidence. Think about the strongest people you know. They do not rush to defend every word. They do not argue about every opinion. They do not chase every misunderstanding. They choose their words carefully. And sometimes they choose silence. Because silence can say many things. Silence can say, I do not need to prove myself. Silence can say, I respect my energy. Silence can say, this conversation is not worth my peace. Silence can say, I know who I am. When you understand this, something inside you becomes stronger. You stop feeling pressure to respond to every comment. You stop feeling pressure to defend every decision. You stop feeling pressure to explain every choice. Instead, you begin to observe. You watch people. You listen carefully. You notice something interesting. Some people ask questions because they care. Other people ask questions because they want control. The difference is clear when you pay attention. People who care listen to your answers. People who care respect your feelings. People who care do not attack your choices. But people who want control behave differently. They interrupt you. They twist your words. They look for mistakes. They look for weakness. They enjoy arguments. These people do not want understanding. They want power. And when you explain too much to these people, you give them power. Every long explanation becomes more material for criticism. Every detail becomes another target. Every word becomes another argument. Soon, you feel trapped in endless conversations, conversations that go nowhere, conversations that drain your energy. But when you learn the power of silence, the game changes. You stop feeding the argument. You stop giving energy to the drama. You simply remain calm. You listen. You respond briefly, or sometimes you do not respond at all. At first, people may feel surprised. They may push harder. They may ask more questions. They may try to provoke you. But something interesting happens. When they do not receive the reaction they expect, they lose interest. Because many arguments survive on emotional energy. Anger feeds them. Frustration feeds them. Long explanations feed them. Silence starves them. Silence removes the fuel. Imagine a fire. A fire grows when you add wood. A fire grows when you add oxygen. But when you remove the fuel, the fire slowly dies. Arguments work the same way. Your reactions are the fuel. Your explanations are the wood. Your emotions are the oxygen. Remove these things and the fire becomes weak. This is why calm people often win without fighting. They protect their energy. They protect their focus. They protect their peace. Another important change happens when you stop explaining too much. Your confidence begins to grow. Confidence does not come from talking more. Confidence comes from knowing yourself. When you understand your values, you feel stable. When you understand your goals, you feel focused. When you understand your direction, you feel calm. You do not need constant approval from others. You do not need constant agreement from others. You do not need everyone to understand you, because your life is not a performance. You are not living on a stage. You are not here to convince an audience.
You are here to live your path. And every path is different. Some people will understand your journey. Some people will not. That is normal. Imagine a mountain climber. The climber chooses a difficult path up the mountain. People at the bottom may not understand the choice. They may say the path is too hard. They may say the climb is unnecessary. They may say the climber will fail. But the climber does not stop every few steps to explain the dream. The climber simply continues climbing, step by step, breath by breath, focus by focus. Because the climber understands something important. Not everyone can see the view from the mountain. Some people only see the ground. Your dreams are like that mountain. Some people will see the vision. Others will only see the risk.
If you spend your time explaining your dream to everyone who doubts it, you will lose precious time. Time that could be used to build the dream. Time that could be used to improve your skills. Time that could be used to grow stronger. This is why many successful people speak less about their plans. They focus on action. They focus on progress. They focus on results. Results speak loudly. Results do not need explanations. Imagine two people. The first person talks constantly about future success. They explain their plans every day. They tell everyone what they will do. But months pass. Nothing changes. The second person speaks quietly. They share little about their plans. They work every day. They learn every day. They improve every day. Then one day, the results appear. Success appears. Growth appears. Strength appears. Which person seems more powerful? The answer is clear. Action always speaks louder than explanation. Silence creates space for action. Silence creates space for focus. Silence creates space for growth. There is another beautiful benefit of silence. It helps you understand people better. When you talk less, you listen more. When you listen more, you observe more. You notice people's tone. You notice their reactions. You notice their intentions. You begin to understand who supports you. You begin to understand who doubts you. You begin to understand who respects you. And you begin to understand who drains your energy. This awareness is powerful because awareness helps you make better choices. You choose your friends more carefully. You choose your conversations more wisely. You choose where to invest your time. And slowly, your circle becomes healthier. Your environment becomes calmer. Your life becomes lighter. Not because the world changed, but because you changed your response to the world. Instead of reacting to everything, you choose what deserves your attention. This is emotional maturity. Children react to everything. Adults choose their reactions. Children argue about every opinion. Wise people choose which conversations matter. Children seek constant validation. Strong people validate themselves. Self-validation is an important step in protecting your peace. It means you trust your own judgment. It means you respect your own decisions. It means you accept that mistakes are part of growth. You do not need everyone to agree with you. You only need to remain honest with yourself. When you make a decision with integrity, that is enough. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will approve. But approval is not the same as truth. Many great ideas were rejected at first. Many great dreams were criticized at first. Many great people were misunderstood at first. History shows this again and again. People often judge what they do not understand. So if you wait for universal approval before following your path, you may wait forever. Instead, learn to stand quietly with your values. Speak when it matters. Act when it matters. Remain silent when the conversation has no purpose. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is protection. Silence protects your thoughts. Silence protects your focus. Silence protects your emotional balance. And when your emotional balance is strong, your life becomes stronger too. You think more clearly. You decide more wisely. You react more calmly. Problems still exist. Challenges still appear. But you face them with a steady mind. Like a deep ocean. On the surface, there may be waves, but deep below, the water remains calm. Your mind can become like that ocean. Calm below the surface, strong below the surface, peaceful below the surface. And this calm strength begins with a simple decision. Stop explaining yourself to people who do not want to understand. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. Because your energy is the fuel for your dreams. And when you protect that fuel, your journey becomes powerful. Part 3. Build a quiet, strong life. Now you understand something important. You do not need to explain your life to everyone. You do not need approval from the wrong people. Your peace is more important. Your growth is more important. Your future is more important. Many people spend years trying to prove themselves. They try to prove they are smart. They try to prove they are good enough. They try to prove their choices are right. But this is a trap. When you live to prove yourself, you give control to others. Your happiness depends on their opinion. Your peace depends on their reaction. This is not freedom. Real freedom begins when you stop explaining. Real freedom begins when you trust yourself. You wake up in the morning and you know your path. You know your values. You know what matters to you. That is enough. You do not need applause. You do not need agreement. You simply walk forward.
A quiet life can be a powerful life. Look at strong people in the world. Many of them do not talk much. They do not argue with everyone. They do not waste energy defending every choice. They focus on action. Action speaks louder than explanation. A person can talk for hours about plans. Another person quietly works every day. After 1 year, the difference is clear. Words are cheap. Results are powerful. When you stop explaining your goals, something interesting happens. You protect your energy. Energy is your most valuable resource. You need energy to learn. You need energy to work. You need energy to build a better life. Every argument steals a little energy. Every unnecessary explanation drains you. It's like a phone battery. If many apps run in the background, the battery dies quickly. Arguments are like background apps. They run in your mind all day. You replay conversations. You imagine what you should have said. Your mind becomes tired. But when you stop explaining, the noise becomes quiet. Your mind becomes clear, and a clear mind is powerful. You can think better. You can plan better. You can create better. Peace gives you power. This is why protecting your peace is not selfish. It is smart. You cannot build a strong life with a tired mind. Another important lesson is this. The right people do not need long explanations. Healthy relationships are simple. You share your thoughts. They listen. They respect you. Even if they disagree, they stay kind. That is maturity. But toxic people are different. They question everything. They criticize every decision. They turn every conversation into a debate. You explain once, they argue again. You explain twice, they still argue. There is no end. Because their goal is not understanding. Their goal is control. When you realize this, you stop playing the game. You simply step away, and life becomes lighter. Imagine walking while carrying a heavy backpack. Inside the backpack are opinions from other people, criticism from family,
judgment from friends, pressure from society. The backpack becomes heavier every year. Many people never remove it. They believe they must carry it forever. But one day, you stop. You open the backpack, and you take things out. You remove the need to explain every choice. You remove the need for approval. You remove the fear of judgment. Suddenly, the backpack becomes light. You can walk faster. You can breathe easier. This is what happens when you protect your peace. Life becomes simpler.
Now you have more time for what truly matters. You can learn new skills. You can read more books. You can improve your health. You can focus on your dreams. Dreams need attention. Dreams need discipline. But dreams also need silence. When you talk about your goals too much, something strange happens. You feel like you already achieved something. Talking gives a small reward to your brain. You feel proud. You feel excited, but no real progress happens. This is why many successful people keep their plans private. They work quietly. They build slowly. Then one day the results appear. People say, "Wow, when did this happen?" But the work was happening all along, just quietly. Your life does not need to be loud to be powerful. A tree grows in silence. Day by day, it becomes stronger. No one hears the roots growing under the ground, but one day the tree becomes tall and strong. Your life can grow the same way. Quiet effort, daily discipline, clear focus. You do not need to explain the roots, just grow. Another important truth is this: you will never satisfy everyone. No matter what you do, someone will disagree. If you follow your dream, someone will say it is risky. If you choose safety, someone will say you lack courage. If you work hard, someone will say you work too much. If you rest, someone will say you are lazy. It never ends. So trying to satisfy everyone is impossible. The sooner you accept this, the more peaceful your life becomes. Instead of pleasing everyone, focus on your values. Ask yourself simple questions. Am I being honest? Am I improving? Am I helping others when I can? If the answer is yes, you are on the right path. That is enough. Confidence grows from self-trust, not from approval. Self-trust is built through action. You make a decision, you take responsibility, you learn from mistakes. Each experience teaches you something. Slowly you become stronger, and when you trust yourself, you no longer need constant validation. You listen to advice, but you do not depend on it. You respect other opinions, but you follow your own path. This balance is powerful. You stay open-minded, but you stay grounded. Now imagine your future self 5 years from today. This person is calm. This person is focused. This person is confident. They do not argue about small things. They protect their time. They protect their energy. They choose carefully where to invest attention. This future version of you already exists. You just need to start living like that person today. Speak less. Observe more. Explain less. Act more. Argue less. Create more. Little by little, your life changes. Your circle becomes healthier. Your mind becomes calmer. Your work becomes stronger. And people will notice something different about you. They will feel your quiet confidence, not because you talk about it, but because they see it in your actions. Peace is not weakness. Peace is strength with discipline. It is the ability to stay calm in a noisy world. It is the wisdom to choose your battles carefully. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every question deserves your explanation. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. And silence is not defeat. Silence is control. When you protect your peace,
you protect your future. Your time becomes meaningful. Your mind becomes clear. Your direction becomes strong. So remember this simple rule. Explain your heart to people who respect it, but do not waste energy explaining your life to people who already decided not to understand. Walk your path with quiet confidence. Protect your peace, and watch your life transform.
If this message hit you, then don't just watch and leave. Like this video, share it to someone who needs this wake-up, and subscribe to this channel. Study yourself 1 hour a day. We are building a different breed here, a new generation of doers, people who don't wait for permission, people who build themselves daily, people who compound quietly and become untouchable over time. Hit subscribe, join the movement. 1 hour a day, every day. And in 1 year, your future self will not recognize you anymore. Let's grow. Let's execute. Let's dominate our own potential. Subscribe now and start becoming the person nobody can compete with.